Hello and welcome to another instructional video on the MiSTer FPGA system. Today we'll be looking at controllers. I have three different controllers I'd like to show you and how I use them with the MiSTer system. This is by no means all inclusive of controllers that you could or should use with the MiSTer system. I may at some point do another video with some more controllers and input devices than the ones I have here. But this is enough for now. So we're gonna do this, and I'll probably get into some more interesting stuff later on when I get them, what have you. So if you're interested in this video and you're gonna like it or whatever, I ask you to press that like button or subscribe if you haven't, or ring, hit the notification bell if you're interested in seeing right when these come up, that sort of thing. Um, or if you have questions or this if you find this video helpful anyway, leave a comment. That would be great. It just helps me out a little bit in the fact that these videos get out to people. I do this as sort of a public service because I had friends and people that thought, hey, wouldn't it be great if somebody made some nice instructional videos for the MiSTer system? And that's what I've done. So, um, spread the word if you know anyone that needs them, etc. So this is the 8BitDo Pro 2. This is my main controller that I use with the MiSTer system. This is what it looks like. The L1 and L2 buttons, or the L2 and R2 buttons are actually like underneath, where you would normally set them. It's just like this way for the display, so you can see when I press them. Yeah, and then I got L1, L2, L1, R1, L2, R2. Right. Okay. And then up, down, left, right, select start, X, A, B, Y. I have the sticks here, and you can press them. So it's the L3 and R3 buttons. And it's nice, so it fills in a little bit so you can see it no matter where you put it. That thing lights up. And then even the what I set that one as the menu button, that also works, that it shows you. So that's there. Now this is in S mode. That's S as a Nintendo Switch mode to get all these buttons working. I was trying to see if it could do vibration, and I think I had set it to X mode for a while, and it was really odd. The only problem when you set it to X mode is that all the buttons remap, so you'd have to completely redo this skin that I have. You'd have to put all the buttons in the right places and change the button numbers and stuff like that, and I just reset it or something. Um, and you have to do that and change it around, and it doesn't do the L1, L2 correctly, and I can't remember. I think these work, but I don't remember. I didn't have them set up or something. So I have an X mode skin, but it doesn't have these in here. So I do need to update that. I'll leave a link to that in the video once I get it, uploaded. It's not up on GitHub at the time of this recording, but I do have a GitHub for it. So I will go ahead and fix that up, and I have it set up so there's an S mode one and an X mode one, just for whatever reason you like, if you like it. But I believe it does do vibration, but it doesn't work with the MiSTer. The controller does have vibration, but it doesn't work with the MiSTer. It doesn't work in S mode, and it will work in X mode. That's why I turned it on, but it doesn't work with the MiSTer. It doesn't support it on this controller, I think. As far as I could tell. I think there are other controllers that it does work with, so get one of them if you really want the rumble. If I find one that does work, that'll be in a different video. So that's that. I use this primarily for most of the systems. I'm just going to shrink this down a little bit so you can actually see behind that I have this. And so I use this for most of the arcade games. There are some that have like spinners and special controls and things like that, which I don't have a spinner for. So that would be something that I would, I should probably get. I think you can sort of emulate the spinner with either the analog sticks or maybe the left and the right, L2 and R2. But I'm not sure about that. but it might work. It depends on the game. I get in the core, I guess. Each core is different for each arcade game. But I would like a proper spinner, like for Tron, and a nice stick, that sort of thing. So whenever, if I ever get one, I'll do a video on that. So the arcade games, I just use this setup for the arcade games. All the computer systems, I use this same setup. They're all pretty much, one or two buttons anyway, so it doesn't matter. I have not I've not gone through every core yet, and I've not learned and set up every core yet, so I don't have specifics on each one, but pretty much from what I know, they all have, one or two buttons, so they all work. If I find something, I will mention it in the video for that core. Of course, some of the computers, if not all of them, but I think just some of them support mice and things like that. So that's another consideration of input device, which I'm not going to talk about mice today, but they have them. There are mice for some of the uh, game systems as well, like the Super Nintendo had a mouse, and I think the Sega Saturn had a mouse. I think there was one maybe even for the Genesis, but a lot of those were like specific per game, like so it came with the game, that sort of thing. Like obviously the Super Nintendo one came with uh, Mario Paint, so it's not like a lot of games supported or something. It wasn't like, um, well, even on old PCs and stuff, you know, the mouse support did vary depending on the game. But yeah, we'll get into. I might do mice later when I do more computer cores and stuff like that. Um, so that's that. I don't know if I would have an input like a skin for it. I don't think that would make sense, but it'd be nice. I have a um, one of the mice from the Amiga Mini. So I have like a proper Amiga mouse, so I can use that if I want to, like play Lemmings or something on there. It's really nice. It's really cool. And that's what I like is I like to get these, these controllers. They're modern, but they still have some of the old feel to them or something like that, and it really helps, sell the thing. Of course, there is also snack support if you have a snack adapter for the core, if the core supports it, and you can use like the original controller. I think, well, I know SNES has one, NES has one. I think TurboGrafx has one. Um, Off the top of my head, I know those are some. I know there's some that do not, like ColecoVision does not support Snack. So, there's one that doesn't. So not all of them do. So you got to use like a USB thing for them, right? Um, so that's that. DOS games, that's just computer games and DOS. This is some of the other, of course, it comes with it. I haven't messed with those, but I usually use this setup for those. These are retro achievement cores, so I don't really want to get into those on this video, but that's what that is. I just found out about that today, and we're putting that in. This is the unstable cores. They're just, whatever, unstable new cores and utilities, so we don't have to worry about that. Okay, so the consoles is the one that really is gonna, where you're gonna have, I have right now I have 3 different controllers that I use for these things. Now, here's the Adventure Vision. This was an interesting system. I did a video on it before. It has an interesting layout, but this stick here, or controller, is enough for it. I think that it works fine for Amiga CD32. I haven't messed with the Arcadia yet. Let's check one thing real quick here. The Arcadia. Yeah, I've not messed with that yet, but I will. One of the 3 controllers I could use for that here. I don't think I've messed with the Astrocade. Yeah, Astrocade is one that has a lot of stuff, so that'll be another one I mentioned. Atari 2600, standard 1 button. I think there are some games that could use 2 buttons. 5200, that's another interesting one. It has a keypad on it again, so that is going to be a different solution. Sorry, 7800 has 2 buttons, so this should be sufficient. Sorry, Lynx. Let's see, it has like it has option 1, option 2. It has 2 buttons, but there's 4 of them, but they're mirrored, so you can swap it. And then the stick, or the D-pad. So it's got the D-pad, 2 buttons, option 1, option 2, and I think there's a start button. So plenty of buttons here for that on this system. AY3 8500. That is what they call Pong on a chip system. I actually have one of these physical, hardware, original hardware one of these type systems. It's a Coleco Telstar, and it's just Pong, and it has Pong and like hockey and soccer or whatever, and handball. There's a handball one. There's a regular tennis, and then there's like a hockey one, and the one I have. So it's like it's like one button. No, not even a button. There's a button maybe to serve, I think, on it, and that's it. And then the knob. Again, that would be nice to have a nice spinner for it. But it does work with uh, the analog sticks, so you can set up the analog sticks for it. So again, that's another one like that. I've not played this one. I've not worked with this one. CDI. I don't even remember how many buttons it has, but it's pretty standard. I have messed around with it a little bit and gotten some stuff to work. Channel F is interesting because that has it has like a twist thing on it, so the stick twists and then there's several buttons on it. But I have stuff that has enough buttons that'll work it, but I haven't figured out the ideal one for that. ColecoVision, of course, also had a keypad. I don't think the Creative Vision did. I've not done a video on that yet, but I will at some point. This is the Game Mate. That's a handheld, so it had a set number of buttons. I think this works fine for it. Game Gear, of course, is fine. Game Boy. That's just 2 players. That's fine. Game Boy Color, Game Boy Advance, Game & Watch. Intellivision was another one with a keypad on it. The Mega Duck. I think it was a handheld one or something, and simple Mega CD. That's where we're going to get into stuff. So the Mega CD, the Mega Drive, those systems, they did have alternate controllers that had 6 buttons on them instead of like the 4 on the face. So I have a Saturn like controller that I could use for those, and I will show you that in a moment. I haven't used the MyVision yet. N64. This, believe it or not, this one actually does work fine for the N64. It has enough buttons and such, and it is actually is a pretty good layout. But if you want one that's more like the original N64 or something like that, you could try one of those. I have not, so I don't have any recommendations at this time. But if I do get one, I'll talk about it. Neo Geo. This actually does work fine for Neo Geo, but if you want to get one of those arcade sticks for it, which makes sense for a Neo Geo, that'd be great. I haven't messed around with the Neo Geo Pocket much. I think this is like not really functional yet properly. NES, 2 buttons and select start. Odyssey² that's an interesting one because it just had a joystick with 1 button, but it had a keyboard on it, and a lot of times you'd like press 1 or 0 for like selecting a game. So you can map 0 through 9 on a controller. So we might take a look at that. Pocket Challenge V2. I haven't messed with that. I've messed with Pokemon Mini a little bit, and I think this controller works fine with it if I remember correctly. Obviously, this is going to work for PlayStation. It's basically a PlayStation controller. The 32X, I think that's probably another one that has 6 buttons or something. So I'd use that Saturn one. I'd use SCV, which I don't think I've used. I don't think I've messed around with that. It's not the same. It's not the arcade Saturn, which is SCT or whatever, or SV, whatever. That's a whole other thing. SGP Super Game Boy. This works fine. Sega Master System. This works fine. Super Nintendo. This works fine. I haven't messed with Supervision. 8000 or regular. TurboGrafx 16, this works fine. I'm not sure if you can put in the extra buttons for like the turbos. That's something I got to mess around with. So that'll be on when I cover it. I have not covered the TurboGrafx 16 yet. The VC4000, I don't know much. Vectrex, I already did a one on that. That's 4 buttons, simple, and it's and a stick or D-pad. And then the Wonder Swan. So those are all the regular main systems. This covers most of them, and then there are a few special ones. So let's go to another controller here. One moment, please. Okay, so this is the 8BitDo M30, which I have, and I use this for basically all the Sega cores, not really Sega Master System or SG-1000, but for Sega Genesis, um, Mega CD, or Sega CD. Genesis also known as Mega Drive. The 32X, and the Sega Saturn. All those. It's especially useful for the Sega Saturn. This is built and designed as a Sega Saturn controller because it has the left button and the right button here, shoulder buttons. And that's why I have to use a controller like this as opposed to the other one, because normally if I was going to map, the extra Z and C buttons, since there's normally 4 on a face, I would map those to the shoulder buttons, but I can't do that for Saturn because Saturn has shoulder buttons. So this is really the best. This is the optimal configuration of a controller for it. I don't know that I like the feel of this one and the connectivity of it necessarily as good as the Pro 2, but it works. It does the job, and it is the right button configuration. So here's the left button, right button, shoulder buttons, up, down, left, right. That's a little plain. I don't know. Might want to fancy that up at some point, but not right now. There's the start button. Select. This is what I use as the menu button. All these buttons, and I will have this uploaded to the to my GitHub. I'll put a link in it to show you what I'll put a link in the description to show you how to get to the GitHub if you want to use this skin for RetroSpy. If you have this controller, you might want to. If you don't have it, or you're not interested in using RetroSpy, no big deal. But that explains the use of the controllers, and those are the cores I use it on. I don't think I really need to go through one of the games and show you, but I'm going to do it anyway, because why not? It's kind of fun. Let's see. Let's go forward. Console. Most of these are fine with 3-button games. This does work. You could do Sonic or whatever, but that's, all 3 buttons do the same thing in Sonic. What do I have available? Where is it? We're going to do Saturn. And insert. And we're going to put in, Symphony night. And just show you how the buttons, work. Just for demonstrational purposes. I know this takes a while to start up, so it's a little getting impatient. Could cycle through this. That's the start button. I think data start, yeah. Data select. I don't have any data in here, so let's make one. Do the classic Sega version, so you can start with all those characters. Oh yeah, journey back to the days long ago when there was an introduction. At least you can skip it, right? If you haven't seen it before, obviously it's nice to read that, but we're illustrating the controller. I just do a slight. grab some stuff, you know. We'll get through the classic bit here, you know, and move on. Because I have another neat thing to show you.
Die, monster! You don't belong in this world.
It was not by my hand that I'm once again given flesh. I was called here by humans who wish to pay me tribute.
Tribute? You steal men's souls and make them your slaves.
Perhaps the same could be said of all religions.
Your words are as empty as your soul. Mankind ill needs a savior such as you.
What is a man? A miserable little pile of secrets. But enough talk. Have at you!
Have at you! Of course, that was the English version from the PlayStation. In this translated ROM hack, whatever you want to call it. So we'll play a little bit. And of course, the shoulder buttons are useful for, like, I think the, like the transformations and stuff when you become Alucard. Wow, I'm just not doing great. Can't they? Right. There it is. You learn the buttons. Learn the buttons. Like that now. Wow. I'm doing horrible. But this is the ideal controller. Is that the Japanese? That's odd. Okay, now I can do this. Wow, I'm just so bad. Super embarrassing. I'm like forgetting what the buttons do. Because I probably had it configured different last time I played. It's been a while, you know. Or I didn't have this controller yet. And I had the other one. Which worked, but I'm wanting to jump with A. Analog, what? Oh, I got like, I can't get killed. Okay. Should take like 3 seconds to take him out, right? There we go. Playtime's over. Raphnet here. Oh, there we go. I keep trying to jump with A. Huh? Take him out with the whip. The classic whip. So, I mean, that's just showing you the controller working. Maybe I'll hit up a save point or something, just so that I have a save. But then I wouldn't be starting from the beginning. If I was going to illustrate anything. Yeah. Yeah, I think I have all my powers at this point. I don't know if I have. I don't have the transformation yet. That comes later. Let's see. You got shield, stabby, jumpy. That does nothing right now. Nothing. Ah, there's the backslide. See? So all these buttons, you know, are good for stuff. And I think these are the transformation ones. That should be menu. Yep. Select, which doesn't usually do much, and then pause or start. This isn't doing anything here either. Oh, no, it is. That's working. Like it's supposed to. It's supposed to be souped up so it doesn't slow down much, but that certainly did. Could be because I went into the menu right before there or something. This is like an enhanced edition. Wow. Come on! It's because I can't see because the controller's in the way. That's what it is. There. Because I'm actually playing off of the recording screen. You know, because I'm not playing seriously, so I don't need it. Or, yeah, well, if seriously is the right word, but you know what I mean. Good stuff. It'll probably, you know, content match or something. So I may cut this out, but we'll see. You'll know if you see this. If you don't see this, you won't know. Kind of want to stop anyways. It's getting long.
Alucard, what is your business here?
I've come to put an end to this.
Still befriending mortals. I'll not ask you to return to our side, but I demand you cease your attack.
I will not.
I will not.
You shall regret those words. We will meet again.
At the party. I don't. Yeah. And then there's a save right over it. Well, not here. Right here. Oh, right. There. So go equip the sword. There. Oh, wrong way, of course. It's up one more. Isn't it? Yeah. All right. And then you have to go into the menu here, and now it'll save it. Now it's saved. So there you go. That's that. Let's quickly go to... Let's just do a quick reboot here. The right button? No, that was the wrong button. We'll come back here because I want to show you something else. But I have this controller. Now, what good is this for? Well, I have a Raphnet adapter, which I'll give you a link to. This is connected to Raphnet adapter, so it's USB converted. I have this actual controller to NTT data, and it is good for some stuff here. Now, I don't have this set up for the system control, so I want to go back. Wait. I want to define joystick buttons. And I'm going to, whoops, just getting mixed up on my things. So we're going to do D-pad. So we're going to do this one, right? Right, down. There's no stick, so I have to hit space bar for this one. No stick. Right, left, down, up, A, B, X, Y, L, R. I'll use select start, and I totally didn't. Let's just go through these. It's the menu buttons I want. Menu OK, menu back. No space bar, no stick. There. Now, one thing I forgot here was this, so I'm going to start over. There we go. Okay, see. Blah, 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 blah. All the buttons work on here. Now, what good is that for? Well, there are a few systems that had, back in the day, whoops. We're going to cancel that. There were a few systems back in the day that had numeric keypads on them, like the ColecoVision and some other, and Intellivision, and I have a list right here. The ones that I'm aware of are the Intellivision, the ColecoVision, the Emerson Arcadia 2001, the Magnavox Odyssey² It didn't actually have them on the system. It was joystick with a single button, but it had a full keyboard, in the console portion of it. So oftentimes there are games that you would select by 0, 1 through 9, whatever. So that is mapped to the controller, so you could use this for that. It's not required. If you want to, if you have a keyboard plugged in, you can use that as well. So there's that. There's the Atari 5200. The keypad wasn't used very often, but it was used. Atari Jaguar, which I haven't used much. That is a dual RAM core at this time, so you need dual RAM to use it, but you might want to use this. You might want to use this keypad with it if you want to use the number buttons. Can't remember the layout of the controller, if it works very well with this or not. I think it's fine though. And the Fairchild Channel F. That one was interesting because it had it just has a lot of buttons, and it has like a twist knob, so it's very different kind of controller on there. So this may not be ideal, but it does have enough buttons for it. And then the Ballet Astrocade has like more buttons than this does, and this is like a 23 button controller, and it has too many buttons. So you can't do all of them. So I don't know what controller you would have to use for Ballet Astrocade, unless you're using an original one and got a snack adapter, and I don't know if there is a snack. I don't know if the core supports a snack adapter even. So I don't know how you would do it, or if you had it as some sort of USB adapter. I'm not sure. Presumably you would pick certain buttons on there, because I think there are a lot of. I have to look at that one. I think there are a lot of buttons that are maybe you don't need. So there's that. But let's do one just to show you how it works. Do I have Odyssey²? I think I have Odyssey² set up on here, so then I could show you it, just that it works. Odyssey². Beep. Weird little beep. I think that's the console beeps on the left, and then the speech stuff is on the right side. All right, so let's do this and load a cartridge. Odyssey². And think of what I played. Let's do Demon Attack. All right, select game. Oh, let's program let's do this. Let us, voice is off. Well, I don't know if voices exist for that one anyway. But you would turn that on. I did another video on this specific core, so we don't really need to go through that. Let's define the buttons, right, left, down, up, action. This is just your regular action button. I'll make it A. Reset. So this is the reset button on the system. Let's do clear or C. Press 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 0. So now you have all the buttons configured, you know. So if you really wanted to use all those buttons, that would be great for it. So there we go. Reset, select game. 1. See, I pressed the 1, so I can select the game. The action button isn't doing anything now. I did set this to be it. Oh, it's probably the wrong controller. Hang on. Oh, is this player 2 now? Did I pick a bad one? Oh yeah, now it's working. All right. So yeah, I must have picked the 2-player game, and then it switched. But anyway, it's quite noisy, but hopefully you can hear me. I will check this. All right, so there's player 2. But that's, you know, that's how it works. This is a really neat one that you can use, especially for these things. Let me get out of this game because that's too noisy. This is a really neat controller. If you can go find one, you'll have to look on like eBay or whatever. Obviously, they don't make them anymore. So some resellers, eBay, wherever other ones, you know, from like Japan markets and you know, retro game stores and things like that. You can usually find these somewhere. That, and then you have to get a Raphnet adapter to plug it into your USB on your MiSTer. That's really the best way to get it to work, because a lot of these cores, they don't support. Well, you couldn't use. You maybe couldn't even use. I don't know if you could use a snack adapter. They probably wouldn't support snack adapter, but even if you the core would have to support it, and then you'd have to have the Super Nintendo snack adapter. So I don't know if that would work with other cores. It probably would though. I don't know that the adapter itself is to the core. I don't know. I haven't messed with those at all. And then you know, set that up. So it's kind of, you know, you have this controller, you have this adapter, you have it plugged in. It's not really like, you know, ideal. I would prefer like a more modern system, but this is probably the best right now for it. And it's pretty neat. And I'll be using this to show off the ColecoVision in a later video. So hope that was helpful for you. Thanks for watching. And maybe I'll see you on another video. If you like this, if it helped you out, you know, like and subscribe, leave a comment, whatever, all that fun stuff if you want. And take care.